Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on November 30th, the last day of November 2022. I just mentioned it's the last day in case some of you people, you don't know that November doesn't have 31 days, okay? You're not all that sharp. We've got the great Rich Rosen, cornerstonesearch.com. He came up. I forgot my glasses. Why wouldn't anybody tell me? No wonder I'm getting distracted. That's terrible. Okay, because I can't see anything with the glasses on. This would be the other way. I was looking at myself. Okay, Richie Rich, cornerstonesearch.com and MarioTheRecruiter.com. Wave, Mario, so everyone knows you're not rich, okay? Do you like that? He's not rich.
One day I will be rich. Okay, that's for sure.
Okay, but the thing is, I want to tell everybody that the contest is back.
Rich Magazine,
Rosen, and also our good friend Michael G. Cox, who abandoned the show. Okay, but they're both running for best recruiter in America, and I voted today. You can vote for more than one company. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my experience. You go to coldcallrecruiter.com. That's not the website they tell you to. You can't remember that, but coldcallrecruiter.com, an idiot could remember it, okay? Coldcallrecruiter.com, and when you vote for there's a number of Cornerstone searches. His is one word, cornerstonesearch.com. Now, Michael G. Cox is a little different. It's Zag, it's a stupid name, Zag, Z-A-G, space works, W-O-R-X. Michael G. Cox is a smart guy. Why did he pick a stupid name like that? I don't know. Okay. But anyway, I had trouble pulling it out, but I finally did. Okay. So vote for these guys. Here's the thing. Here's what I've got my heart set on. Rich was number 11 last year in America, and he was the top solo recruiter. Okay. And I want to have someone who's on the Recruiting Animal show in the top 10. Okay, it reflects well on me. I could tell people, hey, I've got a guy in the top 10 coming to my show. Okay, don't forget that. Hi, honey. Okay, I know I'm not supposed to say it, but that was from my heart. We've got our good friend Sasha Tesanovic. I'm not going to spell it for you. She's over there in Europe. Our good friend who looks like Gal Gadot. I will never stop saying that. Okay, Wonder Woman. Okay, now let's get to business. Anybody else have something to say for the introduction? Sorry, I wasted a lot of time, but I want you to vote for Rich. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And we'll be doing that every week for the next 2 months. Okay.
January 12th. I think it ends January 12th. Is the last,
okay, there you go. Okay.
And you got to register first. It's a pain in the ass process.
What about this? Okay. You know, there's always this thing about sexism, and everybody saw that schlub from FTX. What's his name? The guy Fry or something or other.
Fried. He should be fried in a hot vat of oil.
Yeah, the guy who lost all the money. He's always wearing a t-shirt. He's not in good physical condition. He's got that mess of curly hair. And this woman wrote on Twitter, she said, no female founder could show up looking like the guy from FTX and expect to be taken seriously. Okay. I hear his girlfriend who was running the company that got him into trouble. She wasn't any fancy dresser either. Does anybody agree with her that was sexist? This guy could raise a lot of money, even though he looks so awful, just because he was a man. Anybody want to take up that?
No. I won't agree with that. I mean, none of us will agree with that. That's stupidity.
Well,
stupid as that guy.
The guy, he was connected. He had the right connections.
Yeah, exactly.
What connections?
I haven't read the guy's story.
Oh, you don't even know anything about it.
Okay, I saw a bit of it, but
I've got off on a tangent. The show's off the rails in the first 5 minutes. I spent 10 minutes talking about Rich, okay, promoting my guy here, okay? He's our guy. He's our hero on this show, okay? What can I say? Okay. What about this? Remote meetings on Zoom. Okay. This woman said that since all this Zoom stuff and remote started, she said everybody looks like a schlub. You know, they never dress up and they're not alert. They don't prepare. They'll get on a meeting from the car. You know, it's just so informal. She said, this is terrible. Does anybody agree with that? Because not everybody does.
Hell no.
Go ahead. Shoot, David M. Marr.
There's no point in being, I mean, unless you're dealing with like politics, the whole have to wear suit and tie is just, it's just archaic. It's not
Agreed.
necessary for people to conduct business.
Okay, yeah, we know you don't even like showing us what you look like, okay? And none of us are wearing a suit and tie. I can only imagine.
I have worked for many
There he is.
companies
Put the picture
that
back.
have world
Yeah, there goes his sound. He said
that
it would. Okay,
CEOs
yeah,
wear
you're
like
fitness.
t-shirts
Okay.
and so forth. So
Okay.
there you go.
That was a
Okay.
Zuckerberg invention. Just to show up in your T-shirt.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Actually,
this guy said-
guys, hold up. The best example of Steve Jobs. He wore the same black turtleneck all the
well,
time.
that was later on, okay?
Yeah,
Mark
Now,
Zuckerberg-
what's-
No, I mean, he was before Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he
Mark
was.
Zuckerberg wears the
Yeah, but
same-
that was later in his career
T-shirt
with
and
that
pants.
uniform. That was later, okay? There's plenty of pictures of him in a tie. Okay, let me come back. There was a recruiter who responded to her. She said, I couldn't care less about my attorney being in a hoodie. If he helped me solve my problem, that's all I care about. Everybody on the same page as him?
Yup.
I mean,
Actually,
listen,
she has-
listen. I wear.
That's the point.
I do all these videos and T-shirts and stuff all the time, but
You're
You know.
doing videos. Tell us about your videos, Rich. I didn't plan on asking you, but you
Oh,
mentioned
yeah,
it before.
But to answer your question, though, it's like if you got your attorney, you want it to look at least somewhat professional. I wouldn't want my attorney
Yeah.
thrown up in a hoodie. You know,
I wouldn't mind if you were my attorney. You sound like you're so confident. Don't worry, recruiting animal. I can take care of this for you. You're in his
Animal,
sweatshirt.
have you seen Boston Legal? By any chance?
No, I don't watch it.
Damn it, I can't give an example.
Ah.
Okay, but
Okay, I want Rich.
Rich?
What kind of
Yeah.
videos are you using? Are you making those Michael G. Cox type videos, embedding them in your outreach emails? And
yeah, I haven't seen Mike's, but yeah, I'm sure it's pretty similar. I just started doing this. Actually, from Mark Whitby is what got me into doing it. Was making videos and posting them for jobs. I mean, instead of writing a big long email out, hey, here's a 1-minute video, a 30-second video, I'll send out basically to people, and they get great response
how do you know they get a great response?
because I see who calls me, and then you can see the numbers, you can see the impressions, you can see.
Okay.
Like, you know-
I told you I was going to ask you this. You
Yeah.
said the impressions, seeing how many people click on your stuff. That's vanity. The only thing
Yeah.
that counts is whether they reply.
Exactly.
I don't agree, but now you're contradicting yourself.
No, you asked me how you know, but the people see it and then they've gotten back to me. So, like I said, I mean, I've started posting a lot more on LinkedIn and doing the videos, posting little articles and, polls and things like that. The responses are crazy. But-
Okay, so you think the videos get a better response than the written text emails? Is that right?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Video.
The-
If a picture's
Supposedly
worth
the stat up there
Just
is
wait a
get-
second, David M. Marr. This guy's actually doing videos, okay? He'll show his face on the screen. My question is, are you doing them in those sweatshirts, just like your
Yeah.
hoodie?
Yeah, I am. So I honestly, I'd rather do them in like a nice shirt, to be honest with you, but I get lazy and I'm like, I don't want to go change my shirt.
I'm Rich Rosen. I don't have
Yeah.
to put on a shirt. Come on.
yeah, I mean, there's one more factor that comes into play. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay. And you know what?
I wish it was
Gavin's
that
not
easy.
here, but Gavin would agree. He said you should be so well known in your niche that they trust you. You don't have to put on a show. Rich, I want you to do one of your presentations right here, right now, exactly like the last one you did that you put in an email that was so effective.
it's like, hey, I got this great job opportunity. Or I'll say, hey, listen, I want to make you this quick personalized video. Sometimes I'll make them like I'll send them all to Bill, all to Bob, all to Jim, all to John. That on my list.
You mean you'll do a separate video for each person?
Sometimes, but I'll send them all to I can just do one for Bill, John, Jim, and Steve, and send them out to everyone named Bill, John, Jim, and Steve, and they all think it's personalized. I could say I may have 20 guys on my list. named
Okay, and
Steve.
they're all
different
named. They all
level.
have the same names.
Well, I mean, what are the common
Aren't
names?
you lucky?
How many Davids, Mikes, Bobs, Bill, Steves do you know? A lot. So you tend to get a lot of the similar folks. But
Okay, do it for us before I
Oftentimes-
interrupt you too
yeah,
many
oftentimes
times.
I'll just say, hey, listen, I just want to make you a quick personalized video. I saw your background. I think you'd absolutely love this opportunity. I have no idea if you're even looking or not, but if you're even slightly interested, give me a jingle, and then go into the spiel. Sometimes I'll do the spiel first.
What spiel?
But it's just like, hey, I got this opportunity that is, this cutting edge company in the intelligent document automation space, looking for, a senior account exec in Chicago. And, listen, with your background and your connections with Pega and this particular organization.
How long is the video? A minute?
45 seconds to a minute.
Okay. Anybody got a question for him? I know.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
I do. I'm not sure if you hear me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you send it out as an attachment, or do you create a link to maybe to lead them to your LinkedIn
Good question.
account or
Good question.
YouTube?
Yeah. So I use Loom. So I'll either just send the attachment in Loom like a thumbnail,
Mhm.
or you
I'm
can
familiar
download
with
it to
Loom.
YouTube and then throw that in there.
Do you pay for Loom or use the free? LOOM, everybody.
I pay like $10 a month.
LOOM. Do you pay
Yeah.
for it or
I
you
think
use
I
the
pay
free?
like $10 a month for it.
Why? What do you get extra from the money?
You just get more. You get put more videos and stuff like that on it.
Mhm.
I also have a fancy video from 2018 when I first started recruiting.
But
I'm
we're
gonna
using
share
Loom.
it.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was posted on YouTube, and the partner I was working with at the time was cutting it and editing the video. I'm sending it in the chat. So, famous Sasha.
Yeah, I'm too busy. I can't look. But the other losers, the other people on the show can do it.
There's Sasha's. Let's see Sasha.
Yeah, okay. And isn't it funny that Rich is such a Superman, and yet he's just starting with this video? If he was so smart, it's been in the news.
Well,
Like
you know
people have
what?
been
So
talking
this
about
is the
it
thing.
forever.
So this is the thing. I actually started doing it years ago and I hated it. I had a client called BombBomb, which is still around. It's an email marketing video. Worst name ever, personally, but
I don't think so.
BombBomb.
Yeah,
it's
what's
a
wrong
kind
with
of a
it?
trigger. If it triggers a lot of spam, number one, and it's just it could be a bad name for some. But either way, I actually tried doing it years ago, but I'm like, I look like a putz. I hated doing it. I was super awkward on it, and I started and never did it again until like a couple of weeks ago.
I believe that Rich is awkward. Maybe all the practice he's had on the Recruiting Animal Show and the
Yeah.
myriad other podcasts he's been on, maybe that's
The older you
rounded
get, the
off
less you
those
think about
those
things.
rough. I get a new T-shirt. I want a little
Rich,
higher.
there's a great idea for your next video in the chat.
I was thinking about putting that on the cover.
That's actually superb, David.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you want to show it,
It would work.
should he show it here?
Show it there. What's the worst that's gonna happen? They ain't gonna
Oh,
ban the recruiting
is
animal
it not
show.
safe for work? We want people.
No,
to-
It's
totally
safe
safe.
for work. It's quite
It's
safe.
almost
for
showed
work.
as much skin as you, animal. It's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mario, you haven't had much of a chance to talk. Do you want to say
I'm just
something?
listening to Rich. Please let Rich talk.
Yeah, that's what I always say. The thing is, I have to contradict people. Okay, I have to draw them out because they'll say
Yeah, I
one
get it.
thing. He says, "Oh, here's the reason why those clicks are not pure vanity. Even if the person doesn't get back to you, you say, you know what, that guy's interested." Okay, and I said last week that Candidate ID based their whole social recruiting concept on that. They watch, and when the person gets up to 9 clicks on their stuff or something, 9 points, they give points, they get on the phone to that guy. Okay. And if someone like Rich says, who cares if they clicked on it 6 times? Yeah, I care. I'm going to be on the phone with that guy. I'm going to say, hey, you know
True.
what? I got a
Yep.
feeling you like me.
Listen, I agree. I
But
hate
you're
to
a
agree
little
with you,
shy,
Animal.
maybe. I won't say I've been spying on you, but maybe you're a little shy. I sent you something. I just wanted to check up. Okay. But
That's
you
a good
can,
question, actually. How
you
would you
can say-
open that up, Rich?
What?
How would you open that up?
How
You
do
see,
you?
they open the link 5 times.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say
You unlike Loom or Outplay or
Mm.
Uptick, whatever you're using for any kind of campaign.
Are you
It's gonna
looking
show
at
you.
Rich's video right now, Mario? Is that what you're talking about?
no. I'm just asking generally to get an idea
You're
because
looking at the
I had
porno that
some,
David and Marr put up
Yeah.
there?
yeah, it's quite a good porno. I like that version of the porno. Okay, it's far more safe for work than the other one.
Sasha, is that your video that you did, that final dispatch?
Yes.
See?
Okay. Sasha should,
Okay. Well, once it was animal, hold on. Let me ask Rich. Rich, a quick question. Now, let's say a prospective client has opened the email that you sent 3 to 4 times. You call them immediately?
Yeah. I mean, if I can remember to go and check the stats on it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like,
How would you open that up? That's the next
That's
question.
my job, people. The guy just contradicted himself again.
I
Oh,
listen.
it's
I
vanity
said you're
stats.
right. You're on that respect. You're right. How many times a single person opens it? Absolutely. If I do a campaign and I get 90 open it, I sent to 90 people and 47 open it once. Who cares?
Do you make them funny? Because if they're funny, I would look at it again and again.
Some some are better than others. I can't say all my emails are fantastic.
Oh, I was watching soccer and you make up some story about soccer. That's schmo.
But it's so hard. I gotta tell you, writing good email right now is the hardest thing or text or whatever else, because it's got to be so short and try to cram so much stuff into it without it being wordy and lengthy, and you want it to be kind of witty. But you also want to get the
Let me
retention.
ask, Gavin is not here today, but his point always is have a narrow niche, make sure everybody in that niche knows you. Rich talks about having a niche as well, okay? But you're suggesting here implied that not everybody knows you. They're getting your video, but they might not know who you are. Is that true? They don't know you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my space is massive. Like, I'm too broad. If I was going to start over again, I would be super narrow. Well, I'd be very narrow, either just a geo or just a particular segment of software.
Geo means geography. Excuse me, geography, everybody, just in case you don't know. How narrow geo? Would you just go Massachusetts or East Coast?
I would go like East Coast or Central,
Okay.
So.
Anybody want to take him up on that? Anybody want to challenge him? Come on. No. No. Rich has spoken, everybody. Yeah.
The god of recruiting on the Animal Show has spoken. We shall bow.
Okay. What about this? This recruiter says she recommends therapy. She said she's had 2.5 years and now she never gets mad at anybody. She's totally at peace.
Is she
She's not
internal or
billing.
external? That's
She's
the
not
question.
making a lot of money, is what's going
That's
on.
for sure. And is she
Why do you
internal?
say
I'm sure she's
that?
internal.
Why do you guys say that?
Because if you're not, how do you not get mad at people in this business?
Yeah.
Between candidates screwing you, clients wasting your time, candidates wasting your time.
So, Mario, were you agreeing with him that if you're not mad,
I
that
agree with
means
him.
you're
There are
not
times I
speaking
want
to
to
anybody?
there are times I want to stab someone straight up in the chest
Yeah.
and
You
say,
know
"I
what?
told you so."
There was a great line, and you guys watch the show Inside Man with Stanley Tucci on Netflix.
No, I should watch it. What's
Oh,
up? The line.
I just started watching. It's a great show, but the first episode, one of the best lines I've heard in any TV show in forever. It was because he's on death row, and the warden's like, trying to get it. The warden's like, Stanley Tucci, you're not really a killer. And he's like, he tells the warden, he's like, listen, everyone's a murderer. You just haven't met the right person yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a phenomenal line. Think about that.
that's a beautiful line.
Isn't that great?
I always say to
Seriously,
myself,
I like
I'm
that
happy
line.
I'm
I
not
should
an
watch it.
American because that means I don't have a gun in my house. Because
Yeah.
when someone went by with one of those loud motorcycles, that would be the last street they ever rode on, okay? Or they're talking on the street at the middle of the night.
Hey,
Oh!
Rich, have you seen
I
the
gotta watch
Ozarks?
what I say.
Is it what?
Have you seen the show on Netflix, The Ozarks?
Oh, I love Ozarks. Absolutely.
Now's
Oh.
not the time to talk about
I was
Ozarks.
asking
It's
casually.
not a recruiting program.
It is a
okay?
recruiting show. You see how
they
he
had to
recruits
they had
people
to
for it?
recruit help.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's
Now-
brilliant.
Now, I saw a posting that I thought was really intelligent. I don't think everybody else did. But we often ask here, how do you change your niche? If you're working in one niche, you want to move to another, right? It's hard to know because you don't know anything about it. This guy said, write 25 or more postings about your new target field, okay? This is going to help you learn, and it's going to establish your visibility if you're posting it in the right place. I guess he means LinkedIn probably. I thought that was a great idea. 25 postings, you're going to learn something. You're going to be able to talk a bit of the talk, okay? Anybody agree with me or disagree?
No, I mean, it's as fun as it is to disagree, you're right? You got to post out there, like everyone's like, hey, listen, you should have like a personal people like to do like a personalized post on LinkedIn, which I don't particularly love, but you want like authoritative post, you want an informative post. There's like, I forget what the different flavors are, but just to keep your name in front of folks.
What's he talking about? Look, I asked people to vote for you. Try to impress them, okay? Don't sound like you don't know what you're saying.
You're gonna make a video about it.
But that's what you do. You post every time you know, like you write about, you know, either stuff about how you're going to help a client, or even if it's a dumb, like I posted a picture of like, what was it about? It was about like, you know, toxic workplace, you know, it got like, I don't know, a couple thousand views on the thing. I mean, or whatever it was, 5, 6, 7,000
Really?
views.
Why would they look at that?
Just because it's a funny little thing on LinkedIn.
Oh, it's funny. Okay.
Yeah, I
fine.
mean, it's just like just a parody of the world, basically.
Well, I see lots of funny little videos about animals on Twitter. Can you send those out with your recruiter here? Here's a little funny little dog.
You could, but
might
why would
enjoy
you?
it.
Like, who do you want to get more useless email because it's got a dog in it? You know,
You know, that kind of stuff makes people happy, and then maybe they would read my text
Yeah,
alongside.
I mean,
but I do with sales guys. They just want to see how they're going to make money.
Okay.
And-
nobody
yeah, they're
wants
the
to
guys who are
watch-
on point.
No one wants to reach cuddly,
And,
see
like,
cuddly
if
little
they don't know you,
dogs or raccoons. There was one I saw the other day. This raccoon, she's scratching her pet raccoon. She's scratching its ears, and she stops, and the raccoon takes his arm and grabs her hand and puts it back on his ear.
That's-
Right?
That's what my dog does. My dog does that.
Okay. Well,
that
you know,
crazy-
they say you say
Have
to
you seen
yourself,
that YouTube
how
video with the
intelligent? Look
crazy
at that
Canadian guy
raccoon.
that feeds like 300 raccoons?
Yeah, it's like the bird lady.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I
you
didn't
seen that
say
video of
send.
the
I
Canadian
didn't say
guy that
send
feeds, like-
postings
Hey,
about mental
Hey,
cases.
Dave, you're super
okay?
soft. Dave, you're like when you talk, it's super soft. That's why
Who
I'm
calls me
talking over
during
you.
the show?
Have
Okay.
you
Don't
seen
they
that
know better?
Canadian guy that goes by Raccoon Man who fed like 200 raccoons?
Uh-huh.
They have like
Dave,
an animal's hat
David
on.
and Marr, are you editing yourself? Are you saying to yourself, I'm on a recruiting show? Okay. And I have to relate those raccoons to recruiting somehow. Okay. Everything
Well,
I
they
say
both-
is about recruiting.
Well, they both start with R, so we can start there.
Sasha,
Okay.
you look like you're 10 years old in that video. You look so young.
Well, she's only about 20 or 21 now.
There you go.
That
Okay.
was 5 years ago.
What was
But
it?
she's very growing up. She's more growing up than me. Okay. I could be your dad.
I got a baby in the meantime.
Yeah,
so
we know you've got a baby. Okay. You've told us the
Wow.
first time we met you. Not that everybody remembers, but okay. Okay. Rich Rosen. Let's see what else Superman has to say that we can
wanna
rip him
lead
apart for. Okay.
This is what I care about.
What?
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 You know, this guy David's in the same little suburb as Ernie, and Ernie has no problem presenting himself here, but Dave does. What is that? What does it mean?
He's an internal recruiter. He can't afford the good internet.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
Jesus Christ. I guess someone hit a nerve.
Yeah.
Well, can he get a better background than that? That's what I always think. That blue with the arrow.
I think that's the logo for the company.
Is it? Okay, look. Okay, here's what Rich says. Let's get back to this. Rich says, don't oversell, but sell. Never tell people it's the most amazing, life-changing job, which is what I think I just heard him say on that video, by the way. Okay. He says, at the same time, if I have a strong role, I always present it on the first call, since if you know your market, you should be making targeted calls. Okay. Rich, you told us that, yeah, you know your market, but not everybody's going to know you. So you're making targeted calls. What does that mean? Since you don't really
Yeah,
know
it's
those
actually-
people.
Well, you're
No, when you talk targeted, what do you mean? How are we targeting them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like most recruiters, they just like, oh, this guy can breathe, so I should call him for my role where he's got nothing to do for it. You know, when you're
Okay.
targeting calls, like I've got roles right now for RPA software, intelligent document processing software, and database software. So I'm calling people that have sold that or like software. You know, they're
Right.
selling into the same people. They're selling same kind of complex solutions. You know, in the right regions. I'm not calling the guy in Texas for a role in Chicago. You know, every client you talk to, they're going to tell you how these recruiters keep calling and telling me I got this great guy in Kansas, even though I need a guy in Boston. You know, it's you're calling people that actually, you know, can do the job. You're not just calling them because, you know,
Okay. So you don't call
lot.
people for relocation, right?
No.
You say you don't call a guy from Kansas for Chicago.
No, but that's just a simple illustration. But it's the fact that you're calling people that all have done the work these guys need done. I'm not calling a guy selling cars to go sell software.
But what about these other people? They say, if you on the first call, if you try to recruit them, you're going to seem like some kind of vulture, a cougar. You're going to be too pushy and turn them on. I never
Oh.
subscribed to that myself. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're a recruiter. They know why you're calling. All right.
Rich
We're
is
not
a cougar.
like, it's like people say that because if you're selling like, some kind of rubber dog shitty thing, like a product, or like you're trying to get them to sign up for your car warranty or whatever, or, or stockbrokers, every time they cold call you, they're like, hey, I got nothing for you today, but tomorrow I'm going to, so don't worry. It's like, you know why
Rich,
you're calling.
would you let me write some of your video scripts? Because I think
Absolutely.
you deliver them. And you say, listen, Bill, this is not any dog shitty job. Okay. Okay, isn't that what he just said? That's how he really talks. I would just watch some of the shows and see how you really talk, and I'd put it
Totally.
into the script.
Do it.
Yeah.
I'll write it. I'll read them. See how they
Hey
sound.
man, I'm rich. Okay.
but that's
We
the
have
thing, you gotta
pictures
be-
of me and Mario bowing down. There's a few of those in the past
but that's the
shows.
thing. If you got to be authentic, like my videos, I think they look really dopey and stupid, quite frankly. But you know what? I got over the fact of, just getting them out there and see what happens.
Rich
They're not
knows it.
perfect,
Yeah,
but
Rich
they
is
work.
so modest. Yeah, he thinks
Hey,
he
go
doesn't
look at them.
good.
They're
Yeah.
all on the LinkedIn. They're not great.
Okay,
So I mean,
okay.
they're really nuts.
Okay.
But I'll give
Yeah, I
myself
mean,
mistakes, and then I-
there so
Go ahead,
there's a lot
Mario.
of truth when you're open about yourself, right? You tend to develop the authenticity,
yeah,
but you can't get it.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Rich told somebody that he
Gotta get a
finds
good
the
camera.
Fortune 500 companies hard to work with. Does anybody want to answer that before Rich does? That Fortune 500 companies are not the best clients?
I mean, obviously they have their own set TA teams. Okay, they're not going to feel the main pains. They're going to feel in a smaller company.
Well, they're gonna have. Yeah, I mean, I
lot
worked
of-
with one big company before, and they had like a 17-page contract. And literally, if you read through it, there was one line in there that even said, if a relative of anyone you present works at any of our companies, we don't owe you a fee. But you wouldn't find it because it was buried on page like 16.
See, I'm not at peace like that girl. Maybe I need therapy because I mean that makes me angry. I want to
That's
spit
it.
in their face
the-
and swear at them too.
I'm sure that lady or girl or whoever she is definitely working internally and hasn't worked for more than 5 years. I'm sure of
I
it.
think you're wrong. Okay, I think you're wrong.
Well,
But
then
when
she's
they
gone
try to-
dead.
There's a lot of
mentally.
bleeding hearts.
They not only say, okay, if you send somebody and he or she has a cousin who's a great candidate, we're taking them without paying. Okay, even though you
Yeah.
made the connection indirectly, they're hiding it, they're burying it in a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo
that's-
that no one's going to read. No,
But again,
no
that's part of the problem with
recruiter.
Dirk working with these giant companies. You can't afford to go to court with them if they owe you money. They'll just bury you.
Oh yeah.
And
They'll
then
eat
they
you
don't care.
alive.
It's a nuisance. You're just a nuisance to them. I mean,
Yeah,
so
uh-huh.
and I'm not saying every company's like this. If you got the right relationship, it's terrific. I mean, but I personally, it's not for me. It's like you're stuck to their ways. You're stuck with their rules. They may promise to load you up with 50 opportunities. You may fill 3 of them, and you're just wasting all your time. And now you're a vendor, not a partner, more often than not.
Okay, well, actually, that's another thing you say. Okay, my warranty. I'm interviewing Rich today. Sorry, he hasn't been on for a while. I saved up, but he's been very active on Facebook. I saved up all the intelligent words of wisdom. Okay, that waiting for the time he could come here. Okay, now he just said, I'm not a vendor, I'm a partner. Okay, I want to see what that means exactly. You want to go into it right now, or should
Sure.
I give you the example that you?
No, you're good. I mean, I have a great example. I just turned down a search because his terms are crap. And I'm like, listen, don't even finish. Like I said, listen, I'm not a vendor. And like, if you're not interested in a partner, then, there's no point of.
Well, you didn't define what is a vendor. I'm like not a vendor. I'm
Yeah.
like
Well, a vendor is a
partner.
guy that's just, you're there just to flick resumes to them. They don't really take what you're saying seriously. They don't give you the time of day. The terms of the contract are a joke. They're, where they want like, 100% refunds, on things that you have no control over. But you're not a valued resource. They don't really care about you. You're not part of the team per se. They're not even pretending. I'm like, at least pretend you're part of the team. You're just a vendor. It means they're just going to cut, you're just a number. They'll cut you the second they got their candidate, you're done. They don't care. They're not going to call you again in the future. So, I mean, it's not a good way to build your business. That's what all the little lowbrow, low paying recruiters do.
Is that it?
I can keep going, but you tell me that's enough.
Does anybody else want to
Could
talk
talk
to him about
forever.
it? Anybody else want to talk to him about it? That's how you should decide on, you know
Well,
what? I'll just mention that when
well,
I
well,
got, when
well, hang
now
on.
it's,
Because what I'm going to say, I mean, it's all about how do you want to run your desk? Do you want to run your desk where you are, beholden to your customers, or do you want to, be in business with your customers and we're actually trying to build something together?
what does beholden to your customers mean? I don't understand.
Well, if you're basically, if you're just a vendor, you're just a contingent recruiter, like they may have 14 other recruiters working on it. You're not beholden to them, but you don't have any real assurances you're their guy. They may get back to you, they may not. They may get your guy to the finish line, suddenly pull out a guy from that left pocket that they suddenly came into the picture. It's not worth it. You want to work on deals you actually have a real shot at closing.
Okay, but as long as you're a contingent recruiter, they can bring in somebody and surprise you, okay? And you
They
won't get
can,
bullshit.
but again, if you're a partner, they're more often than not, they're not going to, or at least not, behind your back, or they're going to tell you, hey, we've already got these other people working on it. Or they're going to tell you, hey, we've got this other recruiter just called us with this candidate out of the blue. I talked to him.
Well, you know what? You also said, with regards to that, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I remembered it because it was so good, so sweet, so delicious. Okay. You said in recruiting, more is or less is more. Okay.
Yeah.
That was somebody
Recruiting
said,
math.
look, someone said when these guys tell you that they've got a number, this is a hard search, so I'm going to put a number of agencies on it, just you say, look, okay, what you've got here is a bunch of companies that are just going to look for the low hanging fruit. Okay. And I'm going to be calling the exact same, we're all going to be calling the exact same people. In the end, if they can't find somebody real fast, they're going to put you on the back burner. Okay. Yep. If you take one recruiter, that recruiter can, it's worthwhile dedicating his or her time to the search because it's only them really. It's an exclusive, even if it's not retained, even if there's no money up front. And that's when Rich said, in recruiting, less is more. I think that
more equals less.
More equals less. That's what exactly he said. And do
more
you agree
recruiters,
still
less
with
effort.
did I render what you said in a comprehensible way?
Simply put, as the more people working on the search, the less effort anyone's putting into the search. If you really want to get it filled, I understand not having just one recruiter working on it, as much as I'd love to say they should only have one. But if you have two recruiters that you trust, you're partners with, maybe they're going to go to town for you. If you've got 5 or 6 or 7, low paying recruiters because they did it for 15%, 10%, those guys are jokes. They're gonna muddy the waters. They're gonna ruin the message. They're gonna say, oh, you're the 5th guy to call me on this search already. I'm not interested in this clown show. It's not a sexy opportunity at that point. So these companies keep shooting themselves in the foot. Like this role I turned down last week, the guy wanted, this is what started that whole chain, was the guy wanted a 6-month refund, 6-month money back guarantee. He wanted a low 20% fee, 6-month money back guarantee. And then I'm like, why? I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, oh, and I said, listen, I'm not the guy for the search fee because that's just, that's for loser recruiters that want to do that kind of work. But I'm like, I'm just curious, what happened that you think this is going to get you what you need? And he's like, well, I've gotten burned for recruiters in the past. And then so we went into the whole thing about, well, you got burned because you hired shitty recruiters because that's who's going to agree to these terms. And he's like, well, but I don't know you. I don't. And I'm like, he even said, he's like, you have to prove yourself to me. I'm like, I've been doing this for 27 years, placed 1,000 people. You're a Series A company just about to get their funding. I'm like, I got more status than you, quite frankly, in this particular case. But it was just like, the guy didn't get the fact that charging ridiculous rates and getting someone to do it isn't going to get it done. And then having a warranty, like 6 months, any recruiter that signs a 6-month replacement or refund for early stage software companies is insane because you have no control over anything. And why? So why would you give your money back? if someone's, giving you, has control of everything, comp counts, blah, 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 all this. I mean, that's just
Okay.
insane. That's bad
If
business.
what Rich is saying makes sense, how come he wasn't able to sway this person?
You're never going to win everything. I mean, the guy was, the
You
guy had no
sound like you're
interest.
making sense to me, but
But
where
this
did
is-
where did he not believe you? Where did he, when you said you're never going to get a good, why didn't you say, listen, 25-year-old punk, because that's what it sounds like this guy is, okay? Listen, you punk, call me back, after the search is still open 3 months
That's
from
how we
now.
left it. That's exactly how we left it. I'm like this. I'm like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. I'm like, I've told him flat out, I'm not interested in working on it. I'm not even interested in negotiating on this because we're so far apart, and because he was adamant that this is what his terms were. And I'm like, that's fine. I just wanted to give him a little advice. And when you're ready, let me know. But you may get lucky, but you're not going to build your team doing this. Because I know you go into the pitch of, all right, well, listen, why don't you just put your software into my company? I'll take a look at it for 6 months. Services, install it, teach me how to use it. Maybe I use it, maybe I don't. But then 6 months, I can decide I don't want it. I'm like, you can do that? He's like, oh God. No.
Okay, but hold on a second. You just said maybe he might get lucky. Okay. Do you ever try to verify what you said? Will you check back with this guy in 3 months and see if he did get lucky? And then if he is able to get lucky multiple times, which would prove you wrong. I mean, you're talking a good line. I'm impressed. I feel like I'm stupid and you're smart and I should listen to you. But this kid didn't listen to you.
Well, this kid, first of all, he was like a 50-year-old guy too.
Okay.
But secondly, he may get lucky. All right. But in 3 months, it'll be, let's see if that guy's still employed in 6 months, or does this guy fire that guy in month, 5, day 29?
Okay, so you're not worried about him anymore. You're talking about the recruiter getting screwed. Okay,
Well, I think both
you
are
shifted
gonna be-
around. You shifted
Yeah.
first. You're saying
Well-
you can't build a company like that.
Well,
you can't build a team like that. Now you're saying it's not worthwhile for the recruiter. Before you
It's-
were talking it's not worthwhile for the
No,
company.
no,
Do you see
no.
everybody? Do you see what I'm doing?
Yes, you see, Animal's twisting himself in circles.
No,
Gonna give
I'm
himself
not
a
twisting
hernia.
at all.
Before it wasn't worth signing that contract as a recruiter. What good recruiter would work on those terms?
Okay,
No.
that's a separate issue. You
But
said
that
it's
was the
not
point.
good for his
But the point,
company
it's not
either.
good for his. It's not. It's not good for his business because he is going to have a bad recruiter sending his message into the market, putting his name into the market, and it's going to be some bumbling moron who doesn't know how to get anything done. How does that help that company? What A player is he going to attract to be the first guy in to sell this guy's software? You got to remember, this is a seed round, budget fledgling Series A company. That means they have like not even $1 million in revenue. All right. So he's just worried about preserving cash and capital. And, those are hard searches to do. You're not, so it doesn't make any sense to sign agreements like that, especially when they themselves wouldn't turn around and sign the same thing. If I said,
That's what you meant. Give us your software for 6 months and I'll see if I like it. If not, screw you. Right.
He laughed. He got it. He got the point, but he wasn't about to change his stance because he needs the money. So
And how did you happen to get in touch with this fellow?
I did a LinkedIn campaign and he responded.
What's that? What's a LinkedIn campaign for you?
Just sending messages out, marketing messages.
Oh, for LinkedIn automation? Did you use automation?
Yeah, some of it.
What tool?
Say that. I'm not saying. I'm gonna shut up.
Oh, you're not supposed to say. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
No, but there's a million different tools, whether it's Ulink or.
Yeah, but Ivan was saying he doesn't like to use them because he doesn't want to go to LinkedIn jail, and he says that.
You got to be careful. You can't do tons, but there's so many programs out there. Some are better than others, I think, but LinkedIn, you got to be super careful about.
Okay. Anybody else want to talk to Rich or raise an issue of their own? Because I got a million things to talk about. Okay. Anybody else? Going?
Yes, I'm not sure if you're
Can
gonna
barely
say-
hear you. Can barely hear you.
What about now?
There you
Yeah.
go.
There you
Okay, much better. Now, what is LinkedIn jail? I'm not familiar with that.
When you see if you're abusing LinkedIn, like overly, too many
Breaking
emails
the
getting
rules.
declined.
Breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Okay,
Emails getting declined. If you get even if you get too many, I don't know, what's a really low number. If you send like 5 emails and they say, I don't know you, you'll get put in LinkedIn jail. And it
Really?
it could be, I don't know what the number is, but it could be for a couple of days, could be for a few weeks, could be forever. So you got to be really careful. You know, LinkedIn.
But he's not that careful. He is using the automation software. Okay, so
I don't do it every day, but I do enough of it at this point.
sounds like you're gambling. I mean, you're saying it's dangerous and you're playing with fire. That's what it sounds like to me. Doesn't it sound like that to you, Sasha?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Dave, does it sound like he's playing with fire to you?
No, because we use automation software too. And the only way you really get busted or get in trouble is if you look at too many profiles and or you send out too many messages.
Exactly. You can't send out like 1,000 a day. Send out like 100 or I don't even know what it is, like 100 a week or something like that, 100 a day or something.
Dave, do you want to tell us what you're using? You don't have to.
We use Gem.
Gem. I've heard
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
it's good,
about
yeah.
that recently. Gem. Gem. Everybody. Gem.
Yeah, it's
It's what?
there's a lot of good ones out there, but
Yeah, there's a bunch, like Jobin's pretty good. Ulink's good. There's a million of them.
Jobin does get a lot of good mentions. They actively promote their stuff on the.
They do.
recruiting
It's
groups,
still
too.
very early, but it's a pretty powerful solution. They got a lot of like if-then trees, like a true or false tree. So you can say if this person doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, you can then email it. If it has this, you can do an in-mail. If it's open message, you can send a free message. So they have a lot of creativity around what you can do.
I wanted to mention something that's very important before I forget. This show used to have sponsors, we will accept them again if anybody actually wants it. But when we were a sponsor for Hire Tool, I had, Rich said, they gave you 17 pages of legalese, right? I had to swear my life away. And trust me, I didn't read everything. It was an electronic document. I just clicked it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You can pay me your, $25 a week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I know what that's all about. Yes. Okay.
I have
Maria,
a question for all.
I have a question. Go ahead. Yeah. When you send out resumes, okay, you have to talk a little. You can't talk. I have a question.
But it's like Sasha. If I gotta tell you, this will sound totally sexist, so I apologize. But if I was Sasha, I would totally use like a program like Interview or Loom or any of these things to send messages out. Like the video.
I agree. I'm sorry, everyone.
It's not sexist, Rich. That's realistic.
That's it. That's exactly.
But
That's a fact of
what's your
life.
question?
Okay, so how do you calculate the sales cycle? How do you know how long the sales cycle is?
How long, like our sales cycle for the recruiting process?
Yes.
It depends. You got to know your client. Like you got to at the beginning of the discovery with the clients, you got to walk through. Hey, what's the interview time going to be like? Is it going to be boom, boom, boom? Is it going to get dragged out? Do you have a CEO that's got to interview people and he's got an hour a week to talk to someone? Take it or leave it. But then you got to sell it to your client, and basically you got like 2-3 weeks tops to hire these people, or they're gone, which is still the case. So, despite what everyone likes to think, that's still totally the truth.
You see how he said boom, boom, boom? It's very natural, but he said the name Bomb Bomb is not a good name. He's wrong. He's wrong. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I'd name my company Boom, Boom, Boom if it was available. Boomboomboom.com.
If you named your company Boom
That sounds like
Boom
a triple X
Recruiting,
company.
Boom, boom,
Animal,
boom.
if you
Boom,
named
boom,
your
boom. You need 3
Animal,
booms.
if you named your company Boom Boom Recruiting, you'll be recruiting a whole different ball
There
game.
you
Okay?
go. No, but what's funny though? I think I said this before. So I had a girl that worked with me as an admin for years, and then she was over in France. So she left. She wanted to get into recruiting. I didn't want to pay her a bunch of money, so she started her and her husband eventually started recruiting for the largest like 1-900 number in Europe, and that's what they were recruiting, like sex phone
like a
operators
sex
and like
phone-
sex phone, like the floor managers.
Really? Really?
Yeah. They did it for years. So
Okay. So Sasha, did you want to follow up? Challenge
Nope.
Rich on anything he said? No.
No.
Okay. You
Fair
don't
enough.
challenge Rich.
it all comes down to the discovery. You gotta drill in at the beginning.
Yeah, I really think
Thank
you
you.
should play up that Gal Gadot thing. I'm with Rich on that. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm getting tired of asking Rich questions. Let me see. I'll save some because I have tons. Rich has been very, very active. Okay. Here's something. Gavin, I'll challenge him on this. Believe me, when he comes. But he said you should always follow up with people you place, 3 months later, something like that. I remember once I followed up with a guy or a woman, and The boss found out, the client who had been dealing with my partner at the time, he didn't know me. And I had recruited her, and I just wanted to see if everything was going well. He went nuts. He called my partner.
Really?
He said, you put somebody in there and you're trying to recruit her already? You know, take her out of the company. So you made me pay you, and now you're going to pull her out. But it was really upsetting. It was so ugly. But Gavin says one of the reasons you call these people is because eventually they want to move and you can use them again. That is not right. You're not going to look good if you're.
No, you just have one crazy client.
And in Gavin's defense, he deals with contractors. There's a big ball game in that defense.
But
He
even
wasn't
still,
talking
you should follow up with your candidates, make sure they're happy. If there's no flags, I mean, I've got situations where there's flags. You kind of, talk to both sides and get things smoothed out before there's a problem. I mean,
Give us one example.
It's been a while, but actually it hasn't been that long. I'm actually suing this company. Right
This
now.
guy places 100 people a month, and he says he follows up with them, but he can't think of one example. Is that
listen,
a red flag there that maybe
it-
it's not really happening?
Listen, so I mean, I'm actually suing this client right now. It's actually the first company that I actually probably go to an actual lawsuit with ever. But it was checking in with the candidates because it just turned out the CEO was nuts, to be blunt. Totally off a rocker. And, so I was checking with the
Then
candidates.
Rich, I think you shouldn't talk about this online.
Yeah, well, there's no names. It's okay.
How come you couldn't figure out that before?
What?
Why couldn't you figure out that the CEO? You seem to know when CEOs are goofy. You just said, they're
Goofy
smart,
and
they-
insane are totally
Yeah,
different
exactly.
things.
I mean, a little quirky is one thing, but at the end of the day is, this person, promised one thing. Turns out she completely lied about the capabilities, about the customers they have, lied about pretty much everything. And then she was putting
to
me and to the candidates.
And your spidey sense couldn't tell, right?
It's a startup, I mean, it's a startup. The way you were saying it, it made sense. And then the candidates, these sales engineers, these technical guys would go through the interview process. Sales guys were going through the interview process. Even a VP of sales was going through the process. And long story short, she turned out she lied, but no one knew about it till months later. So, but long story short, we tried to solve the problem. It really came down to talking to these candidates that, it came down to talking to these candidates that we placed there, that this lady was just completely, completely misrepresented everything. So,
You know what? That's a good video. Hi, everybody. Hi, Bill. You said, you didn't say everybody. You said, hi, Bill. There's recruiters who will sucker you into a job. They will lie their faces off and sound so convincing, but that's not me. Okay. Isn't that good? Is that a good entry? Is that a good intro?
well,
too much
everyone
about
loves when you
yourself.
tell them that everyone loves to tell them when you're the honest one. Everyone buys that.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Trust me.
It's Rosen. Honest.
I'm
with
I mean,
you.
that's ironic, right? The person who normally says the trust me part is the least trustworthy of the lot.
I don't
Usually.
think that's so. No.
Usually.
Let me tell you
the
a
person who
story about
doesn't need to
someone
say
who
to trust
cheated
me-
me. I'm going to tell you a company cheated me, but I won't do that to you. Okay, go ahead, Mario. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that. Okay, forget it. Animal, you screwed me over. Okay.
No. Come on. I want to hear what you
I've got
to say.
ADHD after moving around with you guys. Okay, so it happens. Trust me.
You're what after
Even though-
moving around? with
I've
us?
got ADHD.
You caught it from Rich.
Yeah, and you too.
It's contagious.
Okay, and what's his
swear.
name? Tommy Alsatio. He's got it as well, right?
Yeah.
He showed us his medicine. Okay, that's pretty transparent. I'm tired. It's still early, but I'm kind of done. Anybody else want to talk about an issue? Anybody got an issue, or we'll close it off a little early today? Anybody?
How do you recruit during the holidays?
Those can be the best. I'll tell you a story. That can be the best time. I mean, I used to do a lot of phone sourcing, and the best time was Christmas Eve because they'd be having a party at the company, and they would tell you anything. They would tell you anything you want. Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Yeah, here. Call them up. I remember I was recruiting on that one case. It was PhDs for yogurt. You had to have a PhD in some kind of fungus or bacteria. And so I started calling breweries because there's a limited number of it. And I got tons of information on the holidays. I sometimes it's good. Did I answer your question the right way, or was that wrong? Hello, Dave?
Yes, I was just looking at for different
Yeah, he asks a question, takes off. Good, yeah. Yeah,
Sorry, eating my lunch.
yeah, okay, yeah, well, okay, but don't ask a question and disappear, okay? I took it
He's like the
serious.
Batman.
I'm more like the Luigi. To the
Okay,
Marr.
you tell us, final question, you tell us what your approach to the holidays are, Dave. You get the final.
I usually try to come up with some, like, if it's somebody that I placed or that I have a good relationship with, or that I'm trying to place at a near future date and time, I'll usually send out like a gift, a Starbucks gift card or something like that. Not like a significant amount, but just enough to,
How
let 'em-
much? Come on, $5?
$10, something like that. And you're sending it out to X amount of candidates, and it's a good way to bless them through the holidays, but by the same time,
From your own pocket or the company budget?
no,
That's
my
the
own,
question.
my own pocket.
David, you should open your own recruiting firm. I think considering that you're putting in so much effort, you should.
At-
What do you
at
say,
some point-
Rich?
at some
Absolutely,
point-
everyone should.
At some
I don't
point, in the
understand why
future-
anyone goes internal.
at some
We need
point,
to
in
get rid of all the internal recruiters. No offense, Dave. And only make
No.
agency recruiting the thing.
at some point in the future, that's the plan. I actually cut my teeth under a former MRI office.
There you
So-
go.
Right.
Where were you, Dave? Where are
That's
you?
cool.
Are you down south? Where are you?
No, I'm in Chicago area.
Ah,
Didn't
alright.
I
Oh,
say at the
Jesus,
beginning
just-
that he
So there's
lives down
one
the
that's,
street from Ernie?
I didn't
Yeah.
know where he lived. I always think
Yeah.
Ernie's down in Texas or something.
Oh, yeah, I used to.
Yeah.
But he's got snow on his front lawn. Okay, everybody, that was great. Rich, thanks for subjecting yourself to so much. of
Anytime
a-
for you,
a
animal.
grind. MarioTheRecruiter.com. Rich, please have a vote for everybody at coldcallrecruiter.com. See, that
Thank
one's
you.
so smart. Okay.
I love it. I appreciate it.
David and Marr, talk to you later. Bye,
Thanks, guys.
everybody.